probably the less said about that, the better. But out of a sense of duty, obligation, and sort of generally being a nice guy, I am going to try and do a video about it. Bodo Glimt 0, Arsenal 1. First thing to say is it's a really good result. Are Arsenal a better side than Bodo Glimt on their day? Absolutely. Pretty much on any day. But this is a difficult ground to go, difficult conditions, an unfamiliar pitch, a fantastic home record in Norway they've got in European ties. And Arsenal have gone there and managed to get a result by hook or by crook, which, is creditable. The game itself wasn't great, and there isn't a huge amount to say about it. So I'll speak about a couple of things. First of all, Bukayo Saka scores again. That's important. A number of goals, 3 goals in his last 2 appearances. A lot of luck in this one. All right, a nice pass from Sambi, good run from Bukayo. Has the shot, comes off defender or goalkeeper, and it ends up hitting his chest and going into the net. But when you get in good positions, you get luck like that. And that's what Bukayo does with regularity. And he's starting to get those rewards now. And I think goals beget goals. I think it's going to be really good for his confidence. I think as well, it's worth talking a little bit about the selection. I think there were a number of 5 or 6 changes from Arteta today, but still quite a strong core of the side there. Saliba played, White played, Kieran Tierney played, Martin Odegaard played back in his home nation, Saka, of course. And I think that just, as tempting as it might be to make 11 changes, I think it's important not only to keep these players ticking over, but also to keep some sense of stability in the side. I mean, the back line struggled a bit as it was and, ought to have conceded really with better finishing. You kind of wonder what it would have been had they made 4 changes, if we were even able to do that. I think it might have been a little bit too chaotic. Interesting that Saliba played on the right of the back 2 rather, centre-backs, with Holding on the left. Suggest they really strongly prefer having Saliba on that side. I guess there's some continuity there with White outside him as well. Interesting to see Fabio Vieira play in sort of the left 8 position in the first half, where Granit Xhaka played. I mean, to be honest, he wasn't really in the game. It's not really a criticism of his individual quality, but he just didn't really have a lot of opportunities to get on the ball. I thought when Xhaka came on and played in that position, Vieira switched further ahead, Arsenal looked a little bit more stable. What else to say? Matt Turner, I thought, did well tonight. I do feel like he's been a little bit disrespected. I think basically 2 things can be true, right? It can be true that he's a clear second choice and Aaron Ramsdale? Don't know who that is. Aaron Ramsdale is the clear number 1. With Turner definitely, the backup. But it can also be true that he is a decent goalkeeper in his own right. I think maybe in England, maybe in Europe, we're a bit dismissive of the fact that this is a guy who's come out of the MLS, but he is the number 1 goalkeeper for a nation who are going to the World Cup, who have a fantastic goalkeeping tradition. And I do think that's maybe a little bit overlooked. I think maybe his sort of personal journey in the game as well, the fact that he's spent his entire career in America to this point, he was something of a late developer, has also made people raise an eyebrow, as has Arsenal's recruitment record on goalkeepers in the last few years. Ramsdale has been a good signing, obviously the exception rather than the rule. But Turner, anyone who's watched him at any level will tell you, fantastic shot stopper. And I think tonight he didn't have to make some great saves. He made 1 very good save, I did think, low down. But his command of his box was good. His starting position was good. His starting position was higher, probably, than he's accustomed to. And I thought he coped with that well, did some good sweeping. His ability on the ball was okay. It wasn't spectacular. But that's an aspect of the game that he's learning. And, he's someone who has developed late, has shown an aptitude for learning, and maybe it is a string he can add to his bow. He certainly didn't get into Arsenal into any trouble at any real point tonight. And I thought generally, as one of the more experienced players, he led the defensive unit pretty well. He was a good organiser, good command of his penalty box. So I thought this was a good night for him. People will continue to question the distribution and whether it makes him suitable for the model, and with some justification. But I thought he showed tonight a degree of competence which, you know, we should expect of an international goalkeeper. What else to say, really? Reece Nelson started on the left-hand side, had one moment really exciting where he drove past somebody, showed a bit of pace, but generally struggled to get into the game. I wouldn't draw too many conclusions from that. He's returning from an injury, still readapting to this team, to the pace of the game, but he didn't seize the opportunity. Sambi, some good moments, good little pass on the goal, but he's quite inconsistent within the space of a game. That's what I find anyway, that sometimes he wants too much time on the ball defensively, can be a bit erratic. Still a big gap between him and Thomas Partey. Again, this much we knew. But we came through the game, we won it, we're in a very strong position in the group now, and unscathed in terms of injuries. So that's really good news. Gabriel Jesus left at home to prepare for Leeds at the weekend. That'll be a tougher test. And Arsenal will need to play better on Sunday than they did today because, you know, it wasn't a good performance from Arsenal. And it feels like it's been a while since we can say that, but it wasn't a good performance. No fluency, really. And struggled to create chances. So to escape with a win, we'll absolutely take it. Couldn't get too worried about it either way, to be honest with you. But 1-0 to the Arsenal, that'll do. Sunday I'm away, I'm on holiday. I'm going to Tenerife for a few days. I may do a video, I don't know, it depends. My wife's basically told me she wants me to put my phone away for quite a substantial period of this holiday. So it depends how much she sticks to that, effectively. I'm not in control. If there's no video on Sunday, blame Camille, don't come to me. All right, guys, if I don't speak to you then, have a great weekend. If not, speak to you then. For now, bye-bye.